Okay, so let's take a look at the equation of graphs. Looking at number 15. When I'm going to write an equation of a graph, I need two things. I need to know my y-intercept, and I need to know my slope. For the y-intercept, I just need 1 point. The y-intercept is where do I cross the y-axis? So I'm crossing the y-axis right here. Okay, where do I cross it? What's the value of y when I cross it? In this case, +2. So my y-intercept is +2. Now for my slope, I need 2 points. I already have one. Let me get another one. I'm going to use this point. For my slope, I need it as a fraction. Okay, the top number tells me whether I move up or down. Positive if I move up, negative if I move down. So the number in the top tells me up or down. The number at the bottom tells me whether I move to the right or I move to the left. Positive means I move to the right. Negative means I move to the left. Okay. Now, when we read words, right, when there's letters, we always go from left to right. Same thing with math. I'm going to go from the point on the left to the point on the right. So let me start at this point. Okay, so it seems like I'm going to go down. I count how many squares, and I went down 7. So I'm going to put a minus because that means I went down. So -7. And then I go to the right 4 spaces. So my slope is -7/4. When there's a negative sign, it doesn't matter if the negative's on the top or the negative's at the bottom. When there is a negative sign, you bring it to the front. So my slope is going to be a -7/4. Okay. My instructions here says write the equation. So to begin with, write the equation. So I'm gonna do the slope intercept form. So y equals, first thing that I write is the slope. So -7/4 x. Okay, I'm gonna put the slope and then x. And at the very end, the y-intercept with the sign included. My y-intercept was +2, so +2. That's the equation of the line. Now the y-intercept, we can see it here. My y-intercept is +2. Okay, let's take a look at number 16. I'm going to find out what's my y-intercept and what's the slope. For the y-intercept, I just need to know the value of the point, right? I need to see the point where across the y-axis, and I want to know what's the y value of that point. Okay, so I cross the y-axis at +3. For my slope, I need 2 points. I'm going to use the one that I have and this other one. I'm going to write it as a fraction to begin with. I want to travel from the one on the left to the one on the right. So I'm going to go up 7, same number, same amount of units, but in this case positive because I went up 7, and then I go 2 to the right. So my slope is 7/2. My equation is going to be y equals 7/2x. And then at the end, the y-intercept with the sign included. It's a +3. So let me write +3. There's my equation, and there's my y-intercept. Now let's move on to number 17. So I'm going to find out what's my y-intercept and what's my slope. For the y-intercept, where do I cross the y-axis? I cross it at -2. For the slope, I need 2 points. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to write it as a fraction to begin with. And it seems like I go up 1 and 3 to the right. So up 1, so +1. And then 3 to the right, so +3 at the bottom. My equation is going to be y equals 1/3x -2. Remember, at the end is the y-intercept with the sign included. My y-intercept, you guys can tell, is -2. Now, question number 18. I need to find out my y-intercept and my slope. My y-intercept, I cross the y-axis at +3. For the slope, I need 2 points. So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to draw as a fraction. First thing I'm going to travel from the point from the left to the point on the right. First thing I ask myself, up or down? 0 spaces. Because it didn't go up or down. It just went forward to the right. Now, 0 over 4, 0 divided by 4 is 0. So my slope is 0. So I can start writing this as y is equal to 0x plus 3. Mathematically speaking, that's correct, 0x plus 3. However, 0 times x is 0. So that cancels out. So we don't need to write this. So it looks better if we write this as y is equal to +3. So it's going to be my equation. In this case, the slope is 0. So it cancels the x part. So y equals 3. That's my equation. And my y-intercept is +3.